weather and nature, are the two most determining factors of green energy production that have a direct economic impact of a renewable energy project. Identifying potential sites that are less impacted by weather conditions would require a complex interplay of multiple factors. A great deal of expertise, time and resources are needed to help decision makers identify, compare and finalize suitable sites backed by science, climate and economic modeling. Genesis Ray offers SitePro, a cloud-based location intelligence app powered by climate resource modeling and analytics that will play a vital business role to increase investors' and buyers' confidence in getting green energy to the masses. Here we look into the use of Genesis Ray solution to assess the site suitability of two locations for a renewable energy project. We go into South Asia in the heart of India. Let us show you how our solution can help compare two sites and assess their viability. We set our first location in the Kanyakumari and explore the infrastructure surrounding it from a different zoom levels. We can look for nearby substations to identify if there is an existing infrastructure connectivity. We can create an elevation profile to the nearest substation found. Studying its topography, we can understand better the cost impact to the project. Now we head over to Kanyakumari again using SitePro to study its wind resource potential. With the wind layer activated in blue, we can then zoom into the location of Kanyakumari. The area which is highlighted in green now contains the location site of our interest. To discover more on the wind resources of Kanyakumari, we can do a single click here on the location to activate other options, including its chart options that can generate both solar and wind meteorological graphs. In this hourly raw wind numbers, the red chart represents wind speed at a 10-meter turbine height, and the blue represents wind speed at 100-meter height. Selecting a particular timeline, you can now take a closer look at the daily wind performance of Kanyakumari in August in the year 2015. We can use the hover window to look at these numbers visually. The chart on display shows 2015 data, but SitePro provides the user with a 5-year analysis. Let us now take a look at what further analysis can be done. To compute the wind at a different altitude, change the turbine height here. For example, change to 120 meters. The yellow lines here represents the wind speed at 120 meters. As you can see, the chart option provides a visual representation of the wind rules diagram showing the direction speed distribution. You can see at a 10-meter height, at this particular location, the dominant fetch region, which is a measure of wind exposure, is showing west and northeast. Similarly, at a 100 meters height, dominant fetch region is also showing west exposure and northeast. Apart from these hourly raw values, we also have a typical meteorological hourly data, computing the 5-yearly data into a seamless 1-year window. The chart generated display the mean values of the wind speed, and having the exceedance probability computed, you can have a visual of wind speed with the probability of P10, P50 and P90. This helps you obtain critical information of the kinds of wind speed performance. You can select a duration of time period on the chart to analyze any particular season, and study its wind performance with its multiple views of P10, P50 and P90. These monthly option allows you to see more data and study seasonal numbers and patterns. SitePro chart options also allows you to look into the dial profile of a location, showing how the wind speed vary over a 24-hour period. So in the case of Kanyakumari, which is considered a good site, we can observe higher wind speed. So, in the months of January in early winter to June, which is the monsoon season, there is a much higher wind speed of 12 meters per second as compared to the 8 meters per second it experiences in January. Let's compare the first site now with the second site in Vellore. What further analysis can be done? We look once again for the infrastructure surrounding a particular location and study its elevation profile and distance to the nearest substation. A project located at an optimal location can save millions of dollars over the project life cycle. Passing through these tough terrains and varying elevation profiles pose a significant risk for the operating company to have precise pressure and flow estimations. With the wind layer in blue activated in this region, we now launch the chart function of SitePro to display the wind profile at this precise location in Valor. Here we see the blue lines representing wind speed at 100 meters and the red lines at 10 meters altitude. In evaluating a turbine installation for a particular altitude, we can change the wind turbine height to 120 meters. This will recalculate the wind speed at this location. We observe the wind speed at this location to be lower than that of the first site. As to the dominant fetch region, their dominant facing is only west, unlike in the first site where there were two dominant fetch regions of west and northeast. You can also compute the typical meteorological year and those corresponding exceedance probabilities, that is P10, P50 and P90. Looking at the mean wind speed in the yellow lines, they are typically lower than our first site in Kanyakumari, where we were observing a wind speed at 8 meters per second in the first site. This second site shows a much lower wind speed. This proves to be a less preferred zone, based on the estimated resource numbers. You can zoom in on a particular period, and observe the wind profile on a daily basis. Just like the previous analysis for Kanyakumari, you can also look at the dial profile for Valor in a 24-hour period for the season. The wind performance at Valor is half the wind speed of our first site. This chart shows only a maximum of 4 meters per second compared to 12 meters per second from our first location. Comparing the resource potential of both sites, it appears that the wind resource profile for Kanyakumari is better than that of Vellore. In this video, we have shown clear evidence on how Genesis Ray is harnessing nature and providing comprehensive prescriptive analytics to provide hassle-free site selection for your new renewable energy project through our product, SitePro. Our suite of products sees the penetration of renewable energy to fight climate change and enable harnessing the power of Mother Nature sustainably. There are many other parameters and factors that you need to consider when making decisions for a suitable renewable energy site. We have shown you just a few of them in this video. Let us know what you think and we would love to hear and work with you.